Well, hello and welcome back. Last time on the channel, we took a listen to the pipe organ sounds of the Hammond XK5 sitting right behind me. If you haven't seen that video, and I'll leave a link to it, I went through every single one of the pipe organ sounds that's available on the XK5. We listened to each one individually and listened to a few in combination as well. After putting out that video though, I realized there's a few more features related to the pipe organ section of the Hammond XK5, things available under the menu, so I thought I'd just take a few minutes and share with you what those options are. So there's various ways that you can edit the pipe organ section of the Hammond XK5, and if you do that, the instrument allows you to develop a custom name for your particular set of modifications, so you could call up your version of the pipe organ as you've dialed it in. A few control options that are available for you with the pipe organ sounds. You have a total of 20 distinct pipe organ sounds, 9 for the upper manual, 9 for the lower manual, and 2 for the bass pedals. For each one of those, you can, through the menu option, modify the volume level of each pipe, or each sound rather. So if you find that a particular rank is too loud for you or too soft for you, then you can modify the volume that's accessible through the menu. Each sound also has a detune option. So if you want to have a particular set of pipes slightly detuned, one could argue that that might give you a little bit of realism, because in the real world environment, pipes may not necessarily stay completely in tune. So if you add a little bit of detune, that's an option that's available for you as well. So it's another way to modify the sound. And then you have control over something that's called Chiff. So with pipe organ sounds, sometimes at the beginning of a note when it's played, you might hear a little bit of it's kind of a pop or maybe a raspy kind of sound, but it's this distinct character that sometimes precedes the actual sound of the note, and you can vary that to different degrees on the XK5. So you basically have 4 options for Chiff. You can have it set to off, in which case no Chiff sound is present. You can set it to soft, in which case you get a subtle Chiff effect. You can set it to medium, that gives you a medium type of Chiff effect. And the last option is loud, which gives you the maximum Chiff that's available for each of the sounds on the organ. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention today was the pan settings that are available on the XK5 in the pipe organ section, and you've got 4 options. And this is kind of interesting because it allows kind of a simulation of the effect of sound that you would get, let's say, in a church space where, like in the back of the church, you'd have the pipes spread out. So you're going to get a different type of panning scenario than you might with a normal stereo signal. And with a pipe organ, you don't have necessarily all of the pitches on one side of the church and other pitches on the other side. You've got ranks of pipes all mixed up from left to right and in between and from front to back. So you've got this immense way that sound is created. Kind of difficult without even more sophisticated modeling to truly replicate well on an instrument like this. But Hammond does provide a few options other than your standard pan setting. So here's what's available with pan. You can select a left to right option or a right to left option. So what does that mean? If you select left to right, the panning is dictated by the pitch of the note. So your C notes will be panned all the way over to the left. When you play C sharps, they become slightly more towards center. When you get to F and G, those will be panned center, and then your B flat B, those will be panned hard right. So that's how that left to right panning works. It's based on the pitch of the notes. Conversely, if you select right to left panning, it works the same way, except the order of the pitches is exactly the opposite. You start with your B note, B flat on the left-hand side, moving to notes that are pitched C, C sharp. Those are going to be panned all the way over on the right, and then in between, it slowly moves toward the center. Next, you have a pan option that's called pyramid. And what pyramid gives you is, think about a shape of a pyramid. We can think about the pipes that way, with C at the center, C sharp here, D over here. So basically the pitches move away from C in this kind of outward position. With the pyramid panning option on the Hammond XK5, anytime you play a note that is pitched at C, anywhere on the keyboard, that'll be panned directly in the center. If you play a note that is pitched B, that's going to be panned all the way to the left. Anything that's pitched at a B flat is going to be pitched all the way to the right. And then the notes in between slowly move towards center as you get closer and closer to middle C. So things are kind of panned all around. It's not your typical kind of panning where low notes to high notes are panned. It's rather pitches are panned in this unique kind of configuration. So it's another option for you. And then the last panning option is the inverted pyramid. It kind of works the same way as the standard pyramid option, but just in reverse order. So think about any C pitches are going to be pitched hard left. Any C sharp pitches will be panned hard right. And then as you move toward the middle pitches of the octave, F sharp, G, those will be panned in the middle. So different panning configurations, different than what we're normally used to. With the pipe organ option on the Hammond XK5, they just give you a different way to manipulate the stereo spectrum with the pipe organ pitches. So sometimes in a YouTube video, musical effects and very subtle sounds, I don't think they always come across very well in the quality of a YouTube video. So for the items that we talked about today, I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that they're there if you have the XK5. And if you're interested in the XK5 and the additional features it offers through the pipe organ section, knowing that these are there are another example of just how rich in quality this instrument is. Some of the effects that we talked about, especially like the panning, that's kind of difficult, I think, to really come across well in a YouTube video. So we're not doing the sound demo on that. Suffice it to say, the options are in there. They're in the menu. And between this discussion and the last video where we actually did the dive into all the sounds, that's a good look at the pipe organ options that you have available on the Hammond XK5. If you're interested in the instrument and you don't have it, I do have a link for purchasing it in the video description. So that's one way you can support the channel, and it is a phenomenal instrument. If you don't have an organ in your rig, this one is the one to get when it comes to modern keyboards. So hopefully this was helpful. We'll be back in the future with more discussion about the XK5 and more music to share as well. Thanks again for watching. Bye.